Okay, let's get into the stock market technical analysis, guys. Going to do a pretty brief video, but we're going to go through the broad markets. We'll look at some various things. Obviously, the tech stocks, and there's kind of a mania going on right now around the AI theme or concept. And I just want to kind of talk about that briefly, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up. Guys, I will not be doing the live stream tomorrow. I'm heading out of town for Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully, you're able to do the same, take a break, and we'll get back into it on Tuesday. Markets closed on Monday. Okay, so triple Qs. Obviously, we've stopped out of all the short trades that I've pretty much had in triple Qs and the semiconductors. Obviously, I stopped out of most of my semiconductors when I stopped out of the triple Qs. Started stopping out of the triple Qs trade last week. So as of right now, that's been the right move. I talked about how I needed, I was starting to reduce risk and stop out. Again, I can't get all the trades right. There's a little bit of a mania going on where we're just kind of going parabolic, and it's not very conducive of a continued bull market, but it is of a bubble or a top, and especially in the semiconductors. So those don't typically end well, but doesn't mean it can't keep going up. And when I talked about stopping out of a lot of that stuff, I mentioned that if the momentum was relatively strong and I needed to reduce risk in order to it's a game of survival. Long-term stock trading is a game of survival. You get the trades right, you add to winners, but if something starts losing, you need to reduce risk and exit and wait for the next opportunity. So that's basically the way that played out. On triple Qs, you can see rallying pretty strong today, and the broad market actually was up. I checked that, the QQQE, that was up decently as well. So, broad-based tech participation for sure today. QQQE is kind of right at resistance right here, just closing right there at resistance. So we'll see where that goes. And then the QQQ, going back to that one, that's mostly the FANG stocks, and a big part of it is Nvidia at this point. Nvidia has gone parabolic basically and risen to I think it's a 1 trillion market cap. So it's basically a mega cap tech stock now. So I think most of this is just Nvidia, not necessarily a lot of the other ones, but resistance right now on QQQ, the former reaction high is all the way up here at 371.24. So we definitely have that. And yeah, at this point, there's nothing to short against. So, it can continue higher. I don't want to chase this. I never want to jump on and chase a parabolic move. And that's really what this is doing. You can see here, kind of wedging, and now it's starting to go parabolic. So I don't want to chase that, even though it can continue to go higher. You never know where the turn is going to happen, and you don't want to get caught chasing that. All right, the turn or the downside can be just as vicious as the upside. So we'll just wait for the next opportunity. As of right now, I have nothing to really short against, so I'm just kind of flat right now on the tech stocks. And then if I look at the semiconductors, this is where most of the price action's been, or at least a lot of the mania. You can see this thing's just starting to go parabolic as well, just kind of straight up. So resistance is right up here, but the thing is, there's a lot of momentum in these things, so it's not necessarily going to stop right at this resistance level. Here's resistance, kind of the former resistance. We're just underneath that. I could see maybe a big move up, slice through that resistance, and then reverse. But there's nothing to short against right now, so don't want to mess with that one. And then XOK is another way to look at the tech stocks. You'll see here, former resistance is right there. I kind of marked it out to the private member group. Look, you can see here on the daily chart, that was support, several reactions there. Then it was resistance right through here and resistance right through there. And so far, closing above it, Now we'll see if that, how Tuesday opens up, but definitely did slice through that. You have a lot of momentum, all right, to the upside. It's just kind of a mania. So you don't want to short too much into a mania. You can short at resistance. I think it made sense to take an objective short here, but as it continued to move higher throughout the day, you just stop out, take a small loss. You know, you short right there at resistance about 163.60. Don't give it too much. I wouldn't go into the weekend short, especially how that closed. But, you know, and then you just stop out, take a small loss, and look for the next trade. You know, that's the name of the game. All right, if it reversed, you had a great entry. But so far, no reversal. So not short this one either. I'm just going to, you know, go home flat. And I did go home relatively flat on a lot of these tech stocks. Commodities catching a bid. We did see the inflation readings come in hotter than expected. And we are seeing some commodities broad-based kind of across the board. These commodities catching a bid. Especially the grains, and that, you know, we are long the wheat trade. I still like it. Corn up 3%, and wheat up about 2%. Nothing crazy, of course, but still, here's my chart: bullish falling wedge, bullish divergence. We just need that little bit of momentum to catch hold, and this thing should really run. Okay, it's pretty oversold, so that's it on that one. And we're seeing some momentum in corn. Here's corn chart right here, starting to break out to the upside. And so I'm still expecting wheat to do the same. I still like that as a long trade. When I flip over to my S&P 500 sector analysis, kind of my heat map, you know, you notice it's definitely risk on right now. And when I look across the board, technology, semiconductors are basically white hot. Nothing I'd want to be putting any new money to work. If you're in it, congratulations. You know, look for where you want to take profit. And if you're not in it, I wouldn't chase it. You do what you want to do, but you know, it might work out for you, it might not. But then you can see the healthcare and consumer defensives are coming off a little bit, because that's kind of the, you know, it's been risk off for a while and now it's shifting a little to risk on. So, you know, we look at, you know, I was looking at some of these healthcare stocks, and then one subscriber pointed out this one, ATech. So I took a look at it. Notice that it is in the medical or health technology. So, okay, that seems to be the weak sector right now. So there we go. We have an uptrend line on the daily chart. You can see support, support, support. Lots of reactions on this trend line. Lots through here. And then we were building negative divergence. Okay. And then a sell signal really came, you know, I mean, I think it really came yesterday. I like this candle as the sell signal. The last 2 days were not impulsive enough, but yesterday was, you know, a nice impulsive close. That's the sell signal. And today pointed that out to the member group early this morning, and this thing's down, you know, almost 3% with continued downside to come, I believe. So a little bit of support right there at 14. But again, I think we're heading lower. I think we're going to start to see at least somewhat of a correction, probably come into about this area right in here. This looks like pretty decent support, about 945. So I am short this one. So far that's working. And then the financials, MA, which is MasterCard, these you can see here, uptrend line, negative divergence, been building. That has not changed. You still have the negative divergence. Support, and we broke support a couple days ago. Last 2 days back tested, and I started shorting that one today. Just a starter short. And then I'll look to add if we take out the lows. All right, that's how I'm going to play it. So start short here, and then if we take out the lows and break that former kind of minor support, I'll add, and we should start to trend lower. So that's MasterCard. And then Visa looks basically the same. You've got an uptrend line here, support, support, kind of broke right there, gap down, ran up for a back test, and so far getting rejected. So I like that one as well. I'm just in MasterCard. Visa's, I think, a little stronger, and the chart's not as clean as MasterCard, so I went with MasterCard. And then AXP, which is American Express, that's more of the high net worth customer. This one has an uptrend. You got support, support, and still holding that support right there. So you can see today they're buying up that support. This one has not broke yet, so no sell signal on this one. And this one, in fact, doesn't really have negative divergence either. So this kind of looks completely different than MasterCard or Visa. MasterCard or Visa is kind of your common man credit card, and then American Express is a little bit more high net worth. And so, yeah, we're not seeing the weakness there. Okay, one thing to take notice of is the interest rates, TNX. You can see here, always keep an eye on the interest rates. The interest rates on the 10-year Treasury have been rising. Boom, up about 13% in a matter of a few weeks. So the all-time, or not the all-time highs, but the recent highs are up here at 434. So watch that. You also have a potential downtrend line to watch. So rising interest rates, if this continues, this is going to put pressure on tech. So tech can continue to rise, but if I start to see these rise more and especially start taking out some of these reaction highs here, then watch for tech to reverse, okay? And that's maybe when that happens. You know, we'll just keep an eye on that. Former highs right up in here. So that's just something to take note of. And then let's see, we'll check out gold. You know, gold kind of stabilizing, it looks like. Here's GDX. I've got, again, I pointed that out as support right in here. Support, 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 right through there. A little bit more downside. I think you get one more little move down, and that's where it looks like it makes sense to buy. No divergences on the daily chart right now, but if we look at the hourly, starting to build that bullish divergence on the PPO and nothing on the RSI. So again, I think we have a little bit more to go to the downside and probably going to want to buy down there at, you know, 29.75-ish, or it just depends on when we get down there. But that's looking like we're nearing a bottom on that one. So again, I'll start to focus on these miners, start to, you know, look at some of the broad miners, the Newmont, some of these other ones, see if there's an opportunity here for the next leg higher. I mean, on GDX, when I go back to the daily, isn't an uptrend. All right, here's GDX right here, and you can see we are making higher highs and higher lows. So right now we're coming close to support. I want to buy at support in a bull trend. That's a bull trend there, higher highs, higher lows. So again, I want to buy at support and for the next move higher. Okay, so that's kind of how I'm viewing the miners right now. Starting to warm up to them. I need a little bit more on the charts. Got to start building a case, a bullish case, hitting support, showing some divergences starting on the hourly, and then, I don't know if we get anything on the daily, but at least bullish divergence on the hourly, on the PPO and the RSI, I think, and then we hit that support. So a little bit more to do, and I think I'm going to start buying these things again. And then home builders look like a good area to short. I think it's a ITB is their construction ETF. We'll take a look at that one. So not actionable yet. I am not short this thing yet, but it's definitely a good setup. So again, negative divergence on the daily chart, on the momentum indicators. Boom, there it is. We have a bullish trend. Rising interest rates are bad for the home builders. So as interest rates continue to rise, it's going to put pressure on these. And we are still at support right there. No sell signal. Need to break that trend line. Nice impulsive red candle on a breakdown is the sell signal that I would be looking for. We don't have that yet. So until I see that, it's going to continue to rise. They're just on watch for right now. And yeah, that's really all that I have. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, get the video out, and I will catch you guys on Tuesday. All right. Have a good weekend. Take care.